For us, that's the big difference. The family and the school were the main places where we received information and where our character was constructed. But later on, 30 years later, there is a third party in the game. And I would say, when I see my grandchildren, they are very young, the oldest is 7 years, 6 years, and so on. They will be raised in even a more complicated environment, because you have not only television and the beginning of internet. No, they are raised with the social media. A few years ago I was at a university in London, and some of the participants in the debate asked me, what can we do at the university? Let's say in the formation of personalities, of characters. I said, it's too late. You have to do the job between 12 and 18. When you are not successful as an educator at that time, you cannot correct it later on. These are the crucial years. Don't think only about the self-interest. Don't think about only your ego. You are at the service of a broader cause. When in your professional life and your personal life you face a difficult situation, then of course a balanced personality, of the balance you build up during years, is from utmost importance. Because you have that kind of education where your personality was developed in a very balanced way, you can fall back on something more stable, more rooted. The only challenge one of the challenges is, if you open minds, if you liberate them from selfishness, you let them develop some kind of positive outlook on the future and on the world. So afterwards you realize that, let's say, simple people have a much bigger influence than great people. And then thinking at it, we have to be very careful to make idols our examples, because it will end in a very big frustration. You haven't to compare. You have to be your own man or your own woman with his own gifts, with his own objectives in life, which is being proud of the world where he came from, the family where he came from. So we have to be satisfied, so to speak, with what we have. Unhappiness is when you're always in a comparing mood, because you will lose, and you will end, as we call it in the language of today, you will end as a loser. You're not a loser. You haven't to be a loser. You can be a winner, but not in the eyes of the outside world. You can be a winner in your own eyes. Because what we need is kind of counter-attack to rising individualism and let's say a very superficial world. We have to develop all the positive virtues and qualities that are in each of us, and I think this is the main objective of education in schools and in families and even elsewhere. So I don't consider myself as a role model at all. So I can only tell my own story, and you pick some bits and pieces up from it. But when I'm speaking and I make a lot of speeches, and when I'm teaching, and I'm teaching more and more, I always have in mind this very let's say, this very small ambition, you never know that in your audience, among your students, there is a boy or a girl that said later on, I heard this from Van Rompuy, and I never forgot this. And then it is worthwhile to do those things. Your words can touch upon somebody that can change his life or contribute to a change in his life. And then it's worthwhile.